I will call to order and welcome everyone to the October the 21st, 2019 Commission meeting of the Limestone County Commission. Pam, do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. The first up is Lloyd Davies.
Mr. Davies, if you don't mind, step up to the microphone, please.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to give another speech here. Thank you for all allowing me to stand up here once again and speak on behalf of our community about the need we have in continuing funding for the library so that it continues to be the valuable service that it needs to keep offering our community the best of educational and informational world. Since our last meeting, I've had time to go home and dwell on the hope that something was said might have tugged at your hearts. I thought many times throughout the last few weeks about each of you and wondered if any of you were rummaging through budgets and funding and looking through your database hoping to find a way and means to continue preserving the integrity and generous purpose of this building. I thought about the hundreds and thousands of library cards that this building has registered to users who have walked the aisles and deposited their rentals, and just wondered what it would be like not to have that luxury anymore. For one moment, the possibility this library may not be able to continue began to upset me, and then I stopped myself in my tracks to reject any negative thought of that recourse. It was then I realized books always were and always will be part of our history. It will be the past that gets us through the present and will always be what helps us envision our future. It is part of a foundation in which we all build our lives upon. There simply cannot be anything more important than to find funding to continue to preserve this historical site, even if it was for one more year until there's more time to make irreversible decisions that will potentially be regretful ones we can't take back. It is my hope that you'll consider the depth of conviction in us to implore your hearts to really think long and hard as to the consequences of these possible actions for so many people that rely upon these resources for reasons we obviously already know. Inside those very walls, we are provided with information on anything from how to tie our shoe to take apart an engine. We can find information on stopping a baby's cry as quick as we can learn how to run for political office and become a decision maker that affects positive change in our communities. That's what the value of the building is to us. It is a big part of who we are, and it represents the characteristics of what we hope to become. It is more than a simple structure, much more than a brick and mortar. It's a legendary, historical, a monument piece of us, and I'm here to thank you for taking time to consider the value of such an important decision and let you know how appreciative I am that you're not only thinking about it in dollars and cents, but in the depth of priceless knowledge that continue in each of every individual steps into those doors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Next.
Michael Lambert.
Mr. Lambert. How you doing?
Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I realized on the agenda you were taking up the Stepping Up resolution regarding reducing mentally ill patients in jail as opposed to getting the help that they should receive. This organization came and spoke to the local bar association. Their intentions are absolutely wonderful. I do not mean anything of what I'm about to be disparaging towards them at all, because I think their heart is in the right place. However, there are current officers in place who can do the job that they are purporting to want to do. The court referral officers, particularly for the county, Tony Gravett, already are aware of programs where people can be placed in. It would be very easy to add mental health facilities to his list of duties to do. They are more than capable of doing it. It is a means of savings of money so that we're not sending money out to another organization and creating another bureaucratic step that's not needed. Even they themselves in their presentation to us admitted that what's really needed are mental health facilities, not more go-betweens, more bureaucracy. I would simply ask you to table that until it's been studied further. I'm not saying please don't vote for it. I'm saying please table it. And I would examine the current officers and ask them, because they can know if they are capable of doing this or not. And I would examine that first, because it would certainly be a means of savings, which everybody is interested in doing. Tony Gravett, I know he's capable. He's actually helped out extended members of my family who have struggled with addiction. He was actually aware of programs that existed south of Birmingham, many of which were free. And if he was able to do that just with his current knowledge base, imagine what he could do if these dollars were reserved and maybe partnered with other organizations, other governmental bodies to actually at some point build or underwrite a facility to where people can actually receive treatment. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
One thing I will say, though, this grant, it was a grant was rewarded for the $50,000 for this. This is no cost to the county, Mr. Lambert. Okay. I just want you to be aware of that. This is just a grant program that they're participating in through our jail system. All right. Next, Pam.
Chuck McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, if you mind stepping up here, please.
Thank you for letting me address the committee. The issue I raise is the property taxes. I'm the chairman of the retirees for the Delphi UAW Local 2195, and dealing on an ongoing and continuous basis with property tax and other issues. I see that there's a lot of disparity in the implementation of property tax. Now, when you go to get an explanation, personally, my tax is raised about 20%. I went to the appeals board.
Was that this year?
This year, yeah. I went to the appeals board, and I got sort of 3 or 4 different decisions as related to that. And quite obviously, I talked to a lot of people in the community, and they say, well, I don't pay property tax. You know, I'm retired. I said, well, you know, I'm just 74 years old, or going on 74. And I know that it has to do with the income and what your bottom line is, and I understand that. The only thing I don't understand is the disparity. And when you go try to get an explanation or an understanding, and I'm probably one that likes to get an understanding, I don't mind paying my taxes. I know there's a lot of growth in Limestone County and in this area, and I know therefore there's a lot of revenue that's coming in that didn't used to come in, but it changes the whole complexion of the county and the infrastructure and everything else. So therefore, to me, it changes the faces of the way the retirees that sort of depended on low taxes lived. So I just want you to take a look at it, and the only explanation I ever get is, well, that's what the state book says. Okay? If that's all you got for an explanation, then, you know, we've got a city commission, we've got a county commission, we've got everybody, and that's an easy cop-out. So I just ask you to look into it. I don't know what you can do about it. If you can do anything, maybe I'm in the wrong chamber. I need to be in Montgomery, but I think it's a worthy cause, and I'm not going to just accept every time I get my tax notice that it just bumps up like our water bill has, for an example. So anyway, that's my piece, and I think I'm speaking on behalf of a few other people. So, and I don't know what happened to you gentlemen, if y'all had experienced the same thing, but that's a pretty low explanation. Just say, well, that's what the state book says. So thank you.
Chuck,
Thank you, Mr. Meadow. Any more public comment?
No, sir.
Pam, would you please call roll?
Commissioner Samet,
Here.
Commissioner Turner,
Here.
Commissioner Black,
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here. Thank you. Mr. McDonald, will you lead us in our pledge, please, sir?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. All right, first thing on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve the October the 7th and October 15th of 2019 minutes. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Turner. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Second on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve claims in the amount of $3,086,778.83. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Samet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Do we have any conflicts of interest with anything coming in front of the commission today? Everybody's silent, so I'll take that as a no. All right, first thing under resolution orders, I'll ask for a motion to approve resolution and stepping up to reduce the number of people with mental health illnesses in jails by partnering with the mental health centers of North Central Alabama. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Turner. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Second on here, I'll ask for a motion to approve resolution providing for Limestone County's participation in the severe weather preparedness tax holiday. Do I have such a motion?
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Samet. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Harrison. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Third on here, I'll ask for a motion to approve resolution to equalize road and bridge funding among districts based on road mile. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Without a second, this motion fails because of lack of second. Moving on. Another contracts, agreements, and grants. I'll ask for a motion to approve agreement by and between the City of Madison and Limestone County regarding the maintenance of a bridge located on Morris Road. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Samet. Any discussion?
This is a bridge that was built by a contractor that went in where City of Madison owns partial part of that road and part of the bridge. Limestone County owns the other part. They built the bridge at no cost to either one of us. This is just us taking over some of the maintenance as the bridge becomes ours again, right?
I think actually Madison City is going to take maintenance. Yeah. It was originally Limestone County's bridge, and so this will be us transferring that over to them, and then they will take ownership.
They'll take the maintenance of it.
Yes, maintenance of it.
Any more discussion? No more discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Motion carries unanimously. We have no budget revisions, no emergency purchases. Under board appointments, I'll ask for a motion to approve 2 board appointments for the Department of Mental Health Resources with a term ending October the 1st of 2025. Would be a Melanie Maples and a Patricia King. Do I have such motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion?
Melanie Maples will, Billy Maples is working off the board, and Tommy Maples' wife, Melanie Maples, who's a CFO in Decatur school system, has agreed to take it, and Patricia King, who lives out on Henry Road, is taking the other one. I appreciate the people from the community that are willing to devote their time and service to these boards. It's very important that they be properly have proper oversight, and I appreciate these two willingness to serve.
Thank you. Any more discussion? No more discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously. Under award of bids here, I'll ask for a motion to approve sanitary supplies with American paper and twine in the amount of $2,078.72 overall, which is 20% off the catalog. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Under personnel action, I'll ask for a motion to approve the transfer of Tracy Shehorn to the jail clerk/secretary effective October the 21st of 2019. Do I have such a motion?
I make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Samet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Second on here, I'll ask for a motion to approve family medical leave for Sabrina Black beginning October the 22nd of 2019 until October the 30th of 2019. Do I have such a motion?
That's Bates.
Bates. Why not? Why did I say Black? Had you on my mind, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Sabrina Bates.
My middle name's Sabrina.
Oh, it is. Do I have such a motion?
I make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black.
Second it.
Second by Commissioner Samet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Samet.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Motion carries. I guess she wanted to be a Black. All right. Next on the agenda, on the merit increases, I'll ask for a motion to approve a merit increase for the 14 employees listed below. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion
I'll second.
by Commissioner Harrison, second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No.
Well,
Go
I'll
ahead.
just make the comment that this is the first time in 2 years we have not given a cost of living nor merit increases in 2 years, and we restored the merit increase this year.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrison. Any more discussion? No more discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Samet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. At this point, I'll turn it over to the engineer, Mr. Massey.
Thank you. I have nothing for you to act on today. Made that easy.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. That's unusual.
Yes, it is.
All righty. We have no other business, no scheduled public hearing, no report of officers. Not report of officer. Commissioner Samet.
Mr. Chairman, in Sundays, or Saturday, I'm sorry, not a Sunday paper anymore local, but anyway, there was an article in it about the unit system. And I think that there's not a commissioner up here that would agree that if it was a better way, we'd definitely go for it. And I've talked to commissioners across the state. I think 17 or district, 50 or unit. I think if you'll talk to a lot of the counties that are unit, I've talked to some that it didn't work for them. And once you step in there, you're not going to just step out. So I think we've got a good system here. It needs some tweaking, I guess. I don't know. I'm anxious to see what the Rebuild Alabama is going to do for us. I know they've committed $185,000 a district for the first quarter. Is that not right?
The first year.
The first year. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, that's going to help tremendously. It'll make a big difference in this county, and if we manage it right, I know that we can make a difference. The Rebuild Alabama, it's going to, I think you'll see a lot of work around. But anyway, I'm anxious to see how it comes out. But I'm leery about the unit system. If somebody was to come to me and prove to me that it would work, I don't think anybody would argue with it. But I'm just a little bit leery of it, and I just wanted to bring that out. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Samet. Commissioner Turner.
Yeah, I still got the paving crew. They actually moved out of my district today to Darrell's district to do the project that you committed part of the funds to. Mm-hmm. So they're up there, probably finish this week. Today may be bad. It's supposed to rain after lunch. So don't know exactly how much they'll get done today, but they are up there working. Yeah. It's a lot of growth going on in the district, like Mr. McDonald was talking about. Just within probably 2 miles of East Limestone High School, you're probably looking at 1,000 new lights within the next 2 or 3 years. And that don't seem to be slowing down. So, but there's supposed to be some severe weather this evening, so please be paying attention to that. They had tornadoes in Dallas last night, moving this way today, so be on the lookout.
Thank you, Commissioner Turner. Commissioner Black.
We're hitting 2 of our main roads again with the bush hog just because we're tidying it up a little bit where we may not have got all the way down into the right of way. We're getting down in there and going slower. We'll be finishing that up this week. We've got 2 trucks out patching potholes. You know that when we get a lot of rain, we get more potholes, and so we're just trying to get a heads up and get out ahead of that. So hopefully we'll have that taken care of. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Black. Commissioner Harrison.
We finished up a portion of Shelton Road. We did full depth reclamation on it, and put in drainage pipes on it and got it the road shaped and crowned and ready for chip seal next paving season. So, but we put a layer of slag on the top of it. It's will be less dusty than the crusher run, and so we're going to let it set over the winter. And that's kind of our MO on these roads that we're doing full depth reclamation on. The best, I've talked to engineers, and the best way to do that is to let it set over a winter, let it settle, and address any deficiencies when we come back and chip seal on in the next paving season. So we've finished that up. We are planning repairs on Sugar Creek Estates Road. It's a dead-end road. We have constructed a bypass road, or actually improved a private road that we're going to use as a bypass road when we start construction on that road, or the repairs on the Sugar Creek Estates Road. With this rain that's coming in this afternoon, it will probably be too wet on the top of the hill of the bypass road, so we don't want to make a muddy mess up there. But we did put millings from Lydia Corey Road, the repairs that we made on Lydia Corey Road, we took those millings and put on the hill portions of the bypass road where people can get up and down. But I've notified everybody. I went out yesterday afternoon and took letters to them explaining what we're doing, and where they're aware of it, where they can get their big equipment out before we close the road. The repairs are anticipated to be about 2 days. There's complicating it. There's a line going down the middle of the road. There's a cross drain that's what we have to repair underneath that water line. So we hope to have those repairs made by the end of the week. We probably won't be able to start Wednesday because of the amount of rain we'll get tonight and in the morning. So anyway, just want to let people know about that. The unit system, I did it's been several years ago, Adam, where we did I did an analysis on it. There's savings. Okay, there is some savings there on the equipment and utilization of equipment. It's not as much as what people think. I'm open to a reanalysis of it, but I'm kind of leery. And one of the things, there's more than just efficiency here, and a lot of people, a lot of the residents, they want a commissioner that they can go to and beat on and complain to, and so that's a part of it too. I mean, there's a lot of issues of going to a unit system, and some have gone back. There was a county, was it Winston County? They went to the unit system, then they went back to the district system. There's not 15 counties on the by road funds. There's not 15 counties that are on the district system. I went through all the counties, and if they're using the ACCA data, when they say a district system, they mean how their commissioners are elected. It's not how they distribute the road funds. There's only about, I think and it may have changed. Went through this about 4 or 5 years ago. There's only really about 7 or 8 counties that actually distribute their money based on districts like we do. 3 of them are up here in North Alabama. Winston went back. I can't remember all of them, but there's a lot of issues, and it's not financial issues that are involved in going to the unit system. So, but I'm open to a reanalysis of that. If we can do things better, if you don't remove a lot of response time from the system, if you can keep the response time up, there is a lot of issues. But I'm looking at everything. I will say that on the proposal, we can look at in the future the proposal for equalization of road miles, and this resolution was, the name of it is kind of misleading because it didn't actually put any funds in the fund. It was for the establishment of the funds to bring all the other districts up to the road funding of District 2. Districts 1 and 3 have about as much bad roads as I've got. This fund actually creates money. We can actually create money for all 4 districts with this fund eventually. And it's not just, this is not something that's new. I've in 5 years, I've brought up in some form getting more money for roads, and this is about the 4th or 5th time in the last 5 years. But I'll tell you, no other department in the county is underfunded as much as roads. I mean, you look at any department, council on aging, EMA, sheriff's department, any other department you want to name, they're pretty much adequately funded. And our roads are severely underfunded. I mean, it would take, and this is old data too, it's like $1.8 million in my district, given the assumptions of that plant mix last 18 years, chip seal last 8 years, and that they were equally, they were all done evenly over that span. And none of those assumptions are correct. So actually it's worse than $1.8 million. And we allocate $385,000. Now the road tax, the gas tax, that's helping. It will essentially $185,000 per district for each district this year, this next pay. It will go up to $308,000 in each district when the 10-cent tax kicks in. It starts out at 6 cents and then it goes to 8 cents and then 10 cents. So, but even with that, I mean, when you're looking at almost $2 million needed, and you know you're at 308 in 2 more years, that almost doubles, not quite doubles what you have, but still you got a great big difference there between what is needed and what we allocate. I've identified almost $1.2 million that we could, from new and existing revenue sources, that we could just take from the general fund and use toward roads. And I would suggest, since this failed, I would suggest that we all put our heads together and see how we can utilize some of that money. And I'm open to all suggestions, like I've said before. But we need to address this issue, because the gas tax, while it helps, and I'm grateful for it, for the revenue, I firmly believe, though, that we can use existing revenues. I believe that Limestone County residents deserve better roads, but without raising taxes. So I suggest that we look at that money that we have available and prioritize in our departments and find some way. If my suggestion here is not acceptable, then we find some way to getting more money from our general revenues into the road system. We've got to do that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrison. First off, I'd like to thank the 3 people that spoke today, Mr. Lambert and Mr. McDonald and Mr. Davies. Thank y'all for coming to speak today. And I want to thank mental health for the grant they provided for this program. The sheriff will tell you that, the thing is, our jails are becoming about as much a mental health thing as they are a jail, because we have about as many mental cases up there we do anything. So that a disease we're all fighting is one. And, like I said, with the unit system, I'm up to looking into anything. I'm like Mr. Harris said, we all 4 of them sitting here, they don't have enough money for the roads, and that's just as simple as it comes. No district has enough. Even though Steve has less miles, he don't have enough money to maintain what he needs to either. And with the tax situation, we need to probably get with Mr. Patterson, and he'll probably explain that more to you. So after the meeting, I'll talk with you about that. And thank everyone for coming today. With all that, we recess until 10 a.m. on Wednesday, October the 30th, 2019. At the Washington Street Courthouse Annex, 310 West Washington Street, Athens, Alabama. Thank y'all.